to allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And for the audience at home, I apologize for us being 15 minutes late. We had a little trouble with the camera, but now we're rolling. Start off the meeting with, so Aaron can take off and go home. I'm going to ask our recreation director to give us an update on summer camps, recreation programs, swimming pool.
Okay. Gotcha. I'm going to hold this, is that all right?
You can put it down on the table.
Okay,
Just stand
all right.
here.
Hello, everybody. Hope everyone's... Gotcha. Here, let me do one of these. Is it all right if I do one of these?
That's fine.
Everyone can see me, hear me? All right. I apologize. I'm not used to talking with the mask. I haven't been anywhere in a while. So just a couple of updates on the recreation program. I know a lot of people, I'm going to read some notes because I made a lot of them, had some questions and concerns. We did last Monday cancel the rec program for the summer. A lot of it came from the suggested guidance that we were expecting to have to follow. So I just wanted to, again, this isn't coming from the Department of Health. This is coming from the Department of Health saying that the CDC is expecting to pass this down to them. Some of the things they were talking about with any summer camp this summer is reducing the capacity 50% across the board. So if we normally take 150 kids, we can only max out at 75. Social distancing guidelines are going to remain 6 feet apart. Everyone would have to wear masks. There would have to be some type of daily health screening every morning, whether it was a temperature gauge, if it was just a visual, to see if they're symptomatic or anything like that. We couldn't accept sick campers. If anyone seemed symptomatic, they'd have to be at it for 2 weeks. Campers who become sick at camp would have to be sent home immediately. Again, 2 weeks with no camp. Be no indoor activities. Anything we would do indoor would be shot down. No camp during inclement weather, and that's big for us because even when it rains, we do camp. We have movie nights, movie days under the pavilion. So they're saying if we have to cancel because of weather, or if we can't do our normal camp activities because of weather, we'd have to cancel across the board. They don't want everyone under a pavilion. They don't want everyone together. No field trips, so we couldn't bus anyone anywhere. That would eliminate Long Pond and any other trip we were on. Camp would have to be a closed camp setting, meaning that there would be no walkers. A parent would have to drop the kid off every day and pick them up. You couldn't have any other vendors come in the camp, food workers, anything like that. So basically it would be a pick up, drop off, and you couldn't come and go as you want. And that hurts us because we have walkers. And we wouldn't be allowed to let people walk because we have to make sure they leave the park. That's part of the closed camp setting. No big group or contact activities. Common areas would have to be sanitized in between uses, so picnic tables, playground equipment, anything that is common use would have to be sanitized regularly. So we went through all that, and even with all that, I'm thinking, is there a way we can do this, because we can't not have recreation this summer. If they're letting us open up, we have to come out heavy because we have adults and kids that have been sitting for months. So after all that, the recreation director from Goshen had asked, I apologize, I forget, Zeldin, the Orange County Health Director's name, had asked her, they share their camp is based at their park, very similar to ours. We're at a Roe Park. And what they were told is that any camp that shares a camp setting with a park, the park has to close. The entire park has to close for that time frame. So it would be closed 9 to 3. And they let us know legally a municipality can't, and maybe you could help me with this. They said we can't close the park unless there's another park that they can walk to for residents to walk to. So that put me under the impression that just because of that rule alone, we're out. We use Roe Park and we can't close Roe Park 6 hours a day because we don't have another park for them to walk to during the day. So that's where I was at with the recreation. I'm always erring on the side of caution. That being said, I understand we have to do a lot this summer. I don't want to use the word I don't want to use the word loophole, but there's the Department of Health oversees multi-activity camps, and that's where Summer Rec falls because it's a multi-activity camp. What the Department of Health told us is that they don't oversee single-purpose camps. So if we wanted to do an art camp this summer, if we wanted to do a baseball softball clinic on a Monday or Tuesday, we can do all that as long as we're following the guidelines as far as crowds. As long as we're underneath the amount of people that can be in one place at a time. So and I don't have a plan now, and I apologize because we just found this all out over the weekend. I'm going to put a plan together this week. What we're going to do, my plan for the summer is to offer something every day to residents. It might be a Monday. Every Monday is an art camp. Every Tuesday is a baseball clinic. Every Wednesday is I'm working with some high schoolers to do a drama camp this summer. So my plan is to have an activity every day, and obviously to spread that time frame out over a period of time so that we stay in compliance and we don't have people bunching up and all. Things like the water activities for Fun Friday. We did that a couple years ago. We had a great turnout. We had 2, 3, 4-year-olds that were coming and they were doing sprinklers and they were doing the outside Toys R Us Park, and it was a big hit. And we're going to bring that back this summer, just because we need to. I feel like we need to flood the town with activities, and I think that's important. So we're going to put a plan together that we have at least one activity every day, all week throughout the summer for kids that have the option to do it or they don't. And we're going to work with Little League and Ponytail. We're going to work with the high school kids. We're going to work with anybody out there. And if anyone's listening at home and you have ideas that you want to do this summer, email me, call me. We're going to get it done. We're going to be out there full force, and we're going to make sure kids have activities to do safely and in compliance with the county. That was a lot to digest. I'm sorry. If anyone has any questions they want to throw back at me, I might have missed something. I'm trying to remember it all. It was a pretty good Zoom call. It was a good amount of time, but they weren't able to answer a lot of questions. They were only able to give us guidance on what they think the CDC is going to allow this summer. And that's unfortunately all I can go off of right now. But as we get more, the plans will expand, and we'll definitely start to do more stuff, and we'll promote it accordingly. The pool, the only thing I've heard about the pool, and I think I talked to you about it, Mr. Livesey, was right now they're saying 10 people in the pool at a time. I don't know how that works, but we will figure it out and we'll make it work either way. I'm expecting that number to rise. I don't think they could expect 10 people in the pool at a time. But like I said, when they let us know that, we'll plan and we will make it happen. I know a lot of people had concerns about our lifeguards. The Department of Health let us know that they are waiving the certifications. If our lifeguard certifications expire after January 1st of this year, they're going to honor them this summer because they know we can't get classes in to recertify for all these things. So as long as, which we do because we certify before we start every year, our certifications are going to be good up until the end of June. So they're going to grandfather us in this year to let us go for the summer with the lifeguards. That's all I know as of that right now, and as I get more information, I will share it and let everybody know. Brooks Park, we opened up back Friday. I'm out there as often as I can be when nobody's there, sanitizing. We have a good solution, a spray solution that you spray on all the common areas, handles, slides, anywhere kids might touch the swings. Let it sit 5 minutes and it dries, and it says on the back it kills human COVID. I don't know, we can't get any more specific than that. So other than that, just keeping Brooks Park clean. Now that it's back open, I'm making my rounds there every day, just making sure it's good. And as summer opens back up, we will start to see flyers for different activities. It's not going to be your regular summer activities, but that might be a good thing because this is going to give us an opportunity to try some new things and to do things different and adjust. We might take a lot of what we do this summer into next summer into addition of what we do every year. You know what I mean? So it's going to be a trying summer. I ask everyone just to be patient, work with us. I think 95% of the people who are watching have my cell phone number. Don't be afraid to give me a call, shoot me a text, email, something, and we'll get your questions answered. And we'll have some things going this summer. There's no doubt about it. Whew. Any other questions for me? I'm sorry.
That
was a lot of
no questions. I just want to say, great job so far working through these challenges. Keep doing what you're doing. I was out this weekend at Brooks and Mondock Park. A lot of activity, but the right activity.
Absolutely.
So keep doing what you're doing. We appreciate that.
And I do want to, so people who are watching at home, just so they know, Brooks Park does get busy. It's getting busier now because a lot of our residents are using it, but it is being used legally, appropriately, and people are being very respectful of other people in the park. I just want to make note of that. Even though it looks crowded, if you take a walk around there, it's not people hanging over each other. You have some people up top barbecuing, you know, a couple kids playing basketball, not sharing the basketball, but shooting with their own ball. Some kids throwing a frisbee in the outfield of the softball field. It's what we want to see, and I just want to make sure people understand that that's, you know, if there's a lot of cars in the parking lot or up, I don't see so much in the road right now, but up and down the parking lot, it's people that are, doing the right thing and using the park the way we were hoping it would be used.
Aaron, you might bring up the work that the town highway department's been doing at
Yes.
the Little League field.
Yeah, so I posted that last week, and if anyone is out, I would encourage you to drive up past the Little League field. The work they have been doing up there the last 2-3 weeks is, I mean, it's a different field than it was. It's a playable field, and we've had a lot of volunteers from Little League that have done a lot to get that field, you know, into the shape it is. But it's good to have some people with some professional equipment to come in and give it a little help every once in a while. And I think that's what it needed. And Pat and his guys have been doing awesome up there. They did a great job at Brooks's Park a couple weeks ago, and I was actually down there dragging it today to get all the weeds and green grass you see growing up through the field. That's all expected stuff. But between the two fields, they've been doing a tremendous amount of work, and it looks great. So I expect for the summer, you know, at least no matter what we do as far as baseball or softball, they're going to have a nice field to do it on.
And finally, did you get a shed for the pool?
Pat and myself are going to take a ride up there probably tomorrow or Wednesday. I spoke with him. We are going to go pick one out, one that he likes for that area.
Okay.
We're going to go from there. But we are going to get it done. We talked, and we're going to go figure it out.
Thank you. Anybody else got something?
With the certifications being waived for the lifeguards, you can man the pool. You have people, you can man it.
Yes. I think the biggest thing for us right now was waiting to find out if they were going to let us open the pool, because we have to get our our lifeguard information, that the application packets out to the county just to get them pre-certified. But now that we have a better idea that we know, you know, we're going to be able to open at the end of June, we're going to get that paperwork out. We'll have no problem staff-wise, at least to start. We may have to recruit some new people, but it may be difficult. We have to recruit people who have certifications. So, but we're confident we won't have any disruptions. We'll be all right. Ooh, that was a lot.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate you coming.
And as always, if anything else, just let me know, and I'm more than happy to give information and answer questions.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Hey, Aaron,
Yes.
I would just suggest that when you're setting up the, whatever activities, that you keep in mind the residents of the like Grove Park. You know, some people might get concerned, they see crowds out there, and that we keep the attendance to Town of Highlands residents.
Yes, absolutely,
You know.
absolutely. And what I can even do, just to take it a step further, because I think that's really important that people know that, is that maybe Mary Jane could do a little piece about summer recreation coming up, letting people know activities are going to be going on safely, you know, with sporadic attendance and things like that. That's a good point, because I think a lot of people would get a little antsy if they see a bunch of kids in the park when they shouldn't be.
On that,
And I may not be hearing everything, because I got this going.
yeah, let's turn it off, Rick. It's on the right side, button on the right side.
Thank you.
Grove Park can be used exclusively for Town of Highlands, and/or it probably can be exclusively Highland Falls, because that's a Highland Falls park. However, Dock Park and Brooks's Lake Park are both owned by the Palisades Park Commission. We manage the parks, but we cannot say Town of Highlands only. It has to be open to the general public.
Yes, I think that actually came out in the last couple of weeks on the social media stuff. People were confused about that, and we posted that it is a state park, and although we manage it, it's got to be open to the public. We can't close it to Town of Highlands residents. I'm hoping more people understand that now that we've been dealing with this. But if not, I could always let Mary Jane mention that.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you guys. Have a great night.
Thank you, Aaron.
Have a good night, Justin.
Previous minutes, the minutes from April the 27th. Anyone like to venture an approval?
Motion?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
So carried. The minutes of May the 11th.
Motion?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
So carried, thank you. I'm not going to read this whole financial report, but we paid out $194,990 for the check run dated May the 6th. We paid out $47,787 for the check run dated May 22nd. And we paid out $102,425 for the check run dated May the 27th. What Kelly is doing now is, the reason this is so big, we're paying our bills weekly rather than bi-weekly. So that'll make the report just that much longer, especially if we miss a meeting, which we did. But that's working out well for her and the people she has working for her. I just want to note under communications, I received a letter from, I'm going to have trouble with this last name, but it's Russell and Jennifer Carasuello. Huh? Okay. They are concerned about a hazardous tree on Murphy Road. And I've turned this over to our highway department, and he is looking into it to see if something can be done rather than waiting for the tree to fall down on top of the wires. So I think he's trying to work with Orange and Rockland to remove the tree. So we are working on it, Mr. and Mrs. Carrascoello. Okay. Liaison reports. Start out with this, Richie.
I'd just like to again thank all the municipal employees, the town and the village, for the good work that they're doing in the community and keeping the water running and the sewage going away and the trash being picked up, and everybody who's doing their work in the municipal buildings also. I think that things are being taken care of in a orderly and good manner, and I think they all should get a good thank you. That's all, Bob.
Yeah, and I thought we now have a box, steel box on the outside of the building for folks to drop off, in particular, the tax bills, water bills, any of those things, and anything else they want to get into the building. The box is checked religiously every morning by the town clerk, and she's not listening to me, but she's okay. But it's taken care of every morning, so if you need to get something into the building, of course, you can call up, make an appointment, talk to the person you're after, or you can just drop it off in that box. Water bills, sewer bills can be mailed very easily, and that you don't have to bother coming in and coming up into the village to pay your bill. Councilman Sullivan.
I'm next?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So as I said when I got here, and I was serious, my apologies. I'm awaiting eustachian tube surgery. It's like my 10th one in life. So I can barely hear except I can read your lips, Bob.
Okay.
So here we go. I'll give it my best shot.
That's why I dropped the mask down so you could read that.
The Zoning Board of Appeals met on May the 20th by WebEx. Kelly hosted it. It was very well done, very successful, very well managed. At that meeting, 2 variances were approved. One was Dock Park by a vote of 4-1, and the other one was Thayer Flats, which had 2 variances. That was approved unanimously. In this week's paper, I have a copy of it here, I'm not going to read it, is a legal notice for the Deborah Copeland interpretation, which is scheduled for Help me, Justin. The third Wednesday.
June 17th.
Okay. So, scheduled for that. If you go to the town's website and you go to Highlands Online, and you go down to online meeting information, all the data to get into that meeting is on that site right now. So anybody that wants to participate in that meeting or watch it or whatever can. And I have a copy of it there, how you can tune into that.
If I could correct something you said something about a variance for Mindock Park.
Oh, I'm sorry. Down on 26 Mine Dock Road. My
Okay.
apologies. My apologies. Okay. That I heard. In the building department, they're doing the best they can to share this space by coming in at different hours and all that. I don't know if everybody got it. It was an excellent suggestion by Richie for how we're going to have an enhanced entryway into the building. Bruce has looked at that. He's got a couple of prices. I don't know if I should discuss them publicly, Bob, but I think that's all but a go. He got a very good price from the second vendor, and I think it was under $7,000, and I think that they put that in. That'll be after. You'll walk in, the town clerk's window will be there. He's doing all the stuff to make sure it meets the fire code. When court's back, everybody can get out. All that criteria is built into it. And I don't know if I was correct in that. I told him I thought for security purposes, we want to keep it as it is now, where people can see through at nighttime. So there'll be glass on the sides of the door. I don't know if you have anything to add to that, but that's...
Before you go any further, I think we want to get moving on this. So if you think that the bid price and the work to be done is adequate, we can discuss it. Rich, I don't know if you're in on it.
I'd like to see it.
Because we really ought to approve spending that. I'm not sure where the money's coming from, but that's, and hopefully we're going to get paid through FEMA for whatever we do there. Is he going to need an architect? I know there was a...
I think he brought one in. It was looking for a consultation fee of under $1,000
Yeah.
to help him. He knows the fire code and all that, but he's fussy and meticulous. And I think altogether, I mean, I don't know if it's an RFP, has to go out to bid, all that stuff. For under $9,000, you're going to have everything, including getting buzzed in by the town clerk's office or however that's all going to be set up. I'm sure there'll be codes for employees to be able to get through when they come to work. And then when you go through the elevator, you already have it upstairs. I don't know if we have to do anything to the lockout here in this door, but that's already set up so that people can't go out in if you lock the
Right.
door.
Justin, can you...
Sure. Well, just need at those figures, right,
They're
it's
not
not subject to public bidding.
Okay.
So it's just subject to your purchasing policy. It sounds like you meet all the requirements. You sought multiple quotes. At those figures, you could approve those expenditures.
Probably under emergency conditions, we can also skip the other things too.
Yep, yep.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay, so I'll give him the green flag to move
All
forward.
right, well, I'm going to ask for a motion to do the, what would you call it, the project and the hallway project as proposed by our building inspector for under $9,000.
That is correct. That's very good.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So carried. Okay, very good, very good.
All right. On the water district, I like to touch upon all my things. On our website, I didn't see where the annual water quality report is on there. I'm not sure to tell you how to navigate to it, but Pat told me today that it's on there. And I see the placards next to my house that they treated Garrison's Pond. Last year, Garrison's Pond was wonderful. This year, when the ice melted off, it had quite a bit of growth. We'll see where it goes. They just treated it, I think, last week, late last week.
Yeah, there's a problem there. The oxygen level was too low or high or something like that, and they couldn't treat it. So now it must be better. With all the rain we had last week, I guess maybe it's better.
On the sewer district,
On the sewer, what? Time out. I was sitting around with nothing better to do. And I'm thinking to myself, I have no idea what a belt press is. I don't know how it works. I don't know anything about it. So I Googled it, and I got some really good information on the belt press. It explains, it's got dollars in there, it explains how it works.
Councilmember Sullivan, it's right on the main page.
Okay, thank you.
But this is great reading. Actually, you don't always get good stuff off of Google. This happens to be great reading and explained to me how the damn thing works.
Thank you.
Okay, now you can go on.
Well, anyway, if anybody's been down there, they'll see that the 35-year-old greenhouse is gone. They tore it down in one day, separated the aluminum. They're currently taking the foundation apart. I mean, they're taking it down right down to the original earth and moving forward from there. In the process of doing so, we've had quite a bit of communications. There were some things that I don't think that were included in the project. One being, now that there's no place to put the sludge, what do you do with what you have? You have to pump it out and remove it. If it sits there too long, it becomes foul and the plant doesn't operate right. So I think we've addressed that with TAM going to come in for a certain price and remove the sludge over basically the next 6 months until the press is actually installed. The dechlorination project is done. It's certified. I forget how much money we got out of school. Did we get the full 125,000?
Yes,
We did.
I'm assuming we did. I mean, that's.
Kelly sent out something. I think we got most of it, if not all of it. So that project was paid for almost half by, I guess it was when Scoopus was an assemblyman.
Yeah.
That he dedicated money toward that. So that's good. So we're compliant now. That's operational. The 3 plant operators all know what they're doing down there. When the old plant operator quit in haste, it has been nothing shy of a nightmare for me to come up with this net DMR. So I've had contact, you all saw the email that I sent out, with this guy named Chris Burr, who talked me through it. It's 70 long pages of data you have to enter, and the plant operator with the license has to be the one that does it. Trouble is, he's not that computer literate, so I'm working with him on that. By the end of the week, that'll be operational. If anybody wants to take it, be my guest, but that'll be operational. And he'll have his passwords and all that stuff, and hopefully we'll be out of trouble with all, because I think we're behind 2 or 3 months on it,
Something like
according to
that.
that letter that we got. And I think that's it.
Councilman King.
Well, good evening, and good evening, everyone at home. Hope they can hear me. So, got the ambulance corps. The report from the ambulance corps is that 385 is out of service and will hopefully be back in service before this weekend with all the activities going on in the area this weekend. He'll be also, the captain will be coordinating with Chief Scott to determine what type of emergency services that may be needed for June 13th. The new ambulance is scheduled to be here within the next few days. Because of the pandemic, the spot check will be done either in Long Island or upstate New York before they will allow it to come. They've had 56 calls last month, which was an increase of about 23 calls from the previous month. The ambulance corps wants to thank the park police, park rangers, state police, Cornwall Ambulance Corps, and Fort Montgomery Fire Department for rescue work on this past weekend. The members of the Fort Montgomery Fire Department were outstanding in their efforts to bring 2 patients up from Hell's Hole over 2 hours of rescue time spent on scene. Special thanks to the EMTs and volunteers during this pandemic. Their dedication has not gone unnoticed. That's behalf of all of us here at the board as well. They continue to do birthday runs, which is a morale booster for the community. And they're doing it for kids and older folks. Jeff wanted to send a special thank you to Kelly, Debbie, Elaine, June, and Leslie for all their help with keeping up with the administrative bills and supplies and so forth. And that is it for ambulance. And then for police, not a whole lot, but some good news is that Chief Pieri was able to apply for additional money through the Bulletproof Vest grant program. And looks like he's going to be able to get as many as 6 new vests as a result of that grant. He's waiting on the vehicle locator for new 114. All other areas of the car are installed. This will be at no cost to the town, by the way. Orange County Stop DWI funds can be carried over to the next quarter, so we won't lose any funding. And any money not used this quarter still gets to be carried over, so that's a good news story. Town of Highlands Police Department took part in a very successful and peaceful march that took place on Sunday, and it was a great effort by all within the community, to include the law enforcement officers who were in coordination with the village of Highland Falls. I thought it was great teamwork. They've begun at our police, Town of Highlands Police Force to transition from Glock to 45s. Glock 45 Gap to the Glock 9mm. Yeah, that's the transition that's happening, and it's going smoothly. Last but not least, because you heard Aaron's report already while he was here in person, so I don't have to mention that. And then in terms of the senior citizens, the center continues to, as they represent us for the senior citizens coordinator, they continue to do wellness checks, and reaching out to folks and ensuring that people who need any sort of assistance, particularly with food resources, that we're able to get those there. And the last thing is the dialer bus. And so we know we've been engaged in an ongoing audit for that's every 10 years or so, and our 10 years had come up. And so Colleen was making us aware of this audit. I have talked to a representative from the Federal Transit Agency and also the representative from the company that we hired to do the audit. I've spoken to both of them, and the good news is that I want to say congratulations to Colleen for doing a great job. They said that the feedback was that she put in a lot of effort and did a phenomenal job in getting the report in. That said, there are some improvements that need to happen that we will discuss. It's not anything that's retributional in nature. So sometimes when people hear audit or some sort of inspection, they get a little nervous. But the feedback I got from these agencies was that Town of Highlands is on point. But the expectation is that whatever discrepancies that might have been found, all that needs to happen now is that you put measures in place that can improve for the next one. So which is 10 years. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'll talk with Colleen one-on-one. We've had some conversations, but then we've also had some hit and miss with her trying to reach me or me trying to reach her. So, but I feel comfortable that what the product is that was put together between her and Kelly that was submitted was sound, and we were in good shape because there was no major discrepancies. Okay, and that is all I have, subject to anyone's questions.
I think one of the problems they had is that she doesn't receive this year's monies this year. So maybe next year or even the year after, but by the time these monies catch up. That was one of the problems. But
yeah. So one thing that was noted was so the numbers submitted were budgeted numbers versus actual numbers. Mm-hmm. So what is a fix for that? Well, next time we're going to use actual numbers versus budgeted numbers. Yeah. It's just that simple. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Email or some sort of communication to the FTA, and he gets that and says, "Okay, well, you guys got the issue that you're going to fix." Okay.
All right.
Yeah, no big deal.
I have 2 proposals here from TAN, which I'm going to ask the board to allow me to sign. One of them is for hauling and disposal of liquid sludge for the sum of 13.5 cents per gallon. And the other one is hauling and disposal of grit screenings at the rate of $225 per ton. That second one, the grit screenings, is something we've handled. It makes no difference if it's TAM or anybody else. That's what it has cost. So I'll ask for a motion to allow me to sign these proposals.
I make the motion to allow the supervisor to sign the proposals.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
So carried, thank you. Finally, after a struggle, the ambulance is going to be paid for by Tokyo Marine. They've sent, I don't think we've got the check yet, but there's no doubt we're getting the check because,
I'm sorry, if it was a transfer, we have the money.
oh, we have
As far
it.
as I understand, there's no check, it's just a
We
transfer.
got the money. We got $126,648, which is exactly the replacement value listed in our policy. This was an ordeal, and as I told Justin, I sent them some emails that weren't exactly friendly or nice, and they were not legal ones, but such as, we're not doing business with you anymore if this is going to go on. The Tokyo Marine one now, that's who I'm talking to. And they did not take our $5,000, what am I thinking of? Deductible. We have a $5,000 deductible. They didn't deduct that. There's a number, or a bunch of equipment that Jeff, Captain Jeff, is working on that was destroyed, and he's got to produce some vouchers and paperwork and stuff like that, but that's being handled also to include, I think, 2 new computers, Tough Boy computers or something like that they call them.
Chromebooks. I think they're Chromebooks.
No, it's called, there's a word tough in there somewhere, tough something.
Because I have all in the folder if anybody wants to.
But they're asking for more information. I don't know if you, I don't know if you got the one today, came in today.
I didn't see it.
Okay, you'll see it, so anyway, we finally got that just about settled. I think our new ambulance is are going to arrive in, I think, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, something like that. And every 3 weeks I hear it's coming in 3 weeks. So, what was strange, though, is I signed checks last week Friday, and there was a check for, I think, $17,500, a deposit for the new ambulance. So right away, I called Kelly up. I says, Kelly, I thought we did this already. She says, no, I never got a voucher, so we never did the check, so they never got the deposit. And the deposit is what they were going to hold on us if we canceled. So anyway, we sent that check out, and they did get the deposit on a new ambulance. Summer rec programs, we've
Hey,
already...
Bob, just
Yes.
on the ambulance, did we ever get any clarification on the classification of the ambulance corps? I thought there was some question if they were volunteers or they were employees, which created the confusion as to whether or not they were going to provide us coverage on the ambulance. Do you remember
So-
that, Justin?
Yeah. So ultimately, insurance did assign coverage, meaning you have attorneys that are handling the matter. They are making the argument that there should be no liability to the town based on the nature of their relationship, but I haven't heard an update from the insurance council in some period of time. Obviously, courts in New York have just reopened, but they were also closed for the better part of 3 months. I can reach out to see just a status update on where the case is. I have no doubt, I shouldn't say that, I have very little doubt that you'll be ultimately successful, or they will be successful in defending the town, but I haven't had an update in a period of time.
Okay. Okay, Justin, do you have anything else? I mean, besides what's on the agenda?
Nope.
Okay, and now Aaron gave us the summer rec programs. I hope that information gets out to the public so they're aware and they can make other arrangements for their kids for the summer. Claims and payment we talked about. Sewer project, I don't know if there's anything more to be said about it. Justin, is there anything?
We
you and
still
Rich?
need to produce a little bit of documentation for the Environmental Facilities Corporation so that they will release funds on the short-term financing, which was previously approved, before we get to the long-term financing, but so that you can start paying for the work that's being done down there.
And I think you've got bills for the first payments there. Those are real thick. Okay, then the next thing would be the lighting project, the LED lighting project between you and Justin. I know if you look at our last meeting, the minutes, which you have here right now, it explains it very well that we got everything, the contracts and everything to sign, but we weren't happy with the way they were written. And
Minor clarifications.
Yeah.
I don't want to overstate that there was any deal breaker.
Right.
But there's needed a few clarifications.
we sent Justin's suggestions back to who's the person?
It's, Orange and Rockland is a division of Con Edison, so the attorney for Con Edison
Okay.
has it. Supervisor asked me to reach back out to her.
We haven't heard from them.
The last name is Grace, correct?
I think Grace is her first name, but
Okay.
yes, Grace Sue.
Okay.
So we're still in a little bit of a holding pattern. We need to acquire the lights from Orange and Rockland to then be able to move forward with the replacements with New York Power Authority.
The reason I bring it up, we've been foiled from a resident wanting to know, or wanting to see the contracts that we've signed, but since the last foil from this resident, there hasn't been anything signed. There's nothing different. It's the same thing. So as soon as I do sign these things, I'd be glad to send them off to.
Sure. Yeah, I'll try to get you an update this week on where that stands. It should be. Really, they were pretty basic changes, so hopefully we'll get them and be able to move forward.
June, I don't know if you've read the latest foil, but we can probably answer that by saying there is no new contracts, because there isn't. There's just nothing. What was said at I think she even mentions the meeting.
Yeah, it's reported from the newspaper.
Yeah. So we don't have anything to send her, and get back to her real quick so it's taken care of.
I'm on Wednesday.
All right. We got anything else?
Good.
No. I do have one minor thing that, rather than keep everybody here for another 10 minutes or so, if the board could just stay here with me for 5 minutes, 2 minutes, whatever, then you can stay, Justin. Then, but if you would turn it, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn the regular meeting, and I ask for a executive session having to do with personnel.
Motion.
Second.
Okay, I'm sorry, but you can't adjourn before you go into executive session, right?
He
You're
asked
right. You're
for-
right. Yes, you're right.
Okay, you're going into executive session.
Okay,
Just
we're
wanna make sure
gonna.
everyone ready.
Yeah. And I'll only be a couple minutes. In June, I'll only be a couple minutes.
I'm sorry, you want me here?
Yeah, no, I don't want you here.
Oh,
So you want to come back and go back on TV?
No, I don't want to be on TV again. We're done.